Hello and welcome to a new video for the Retro Cup. Today we're gonna take a look at a triple confusion team here for the Retro Cup, and this team is super effective. Literally so strong in the current meta, and I can show you why. I actually got beaten by this team before, and that's why I only really got the idea for it. So let's take a look at this gameplay here as well. It's going to be quite entertaining. We're going to have a triple confusion line here with Broguiere, the Shadow Hypno, which also has the legacy move Psyshock. We're going to talk a little bit more about it later, as well as the Girafarig, which is really needed. You kinda need to have a Girafarig or the Oranguru. One of those is definitely mandatory. Girafarig way better though than Oranguru, because otherwise you're going to struggle a little bit with something like a Lickitung. Against Lickitung, Girafarig is fairly decent, and so that's why we use it, because the Lick is resisted. Otherwise, of course, Retro Cup allowed is not to use like the Steel plus Dark typing. Those typings are not allowed to use, so that's really good for Psychic type Pokemon, as you might see. And the only Pokemon type that really still resists this one is Psychic types themselves, and there are not a lot of them. And as you're going to see right now in the video as well, for Broguiere, the moveset kinda changes during the video. I played in the beginning with Awkward Tail. The video is always, like the gameplay is always randomized, so that you saw in the beginning already Crunch on it. I can highly recommend you to put Crunch on it. There's no real reason in this current meta to run the move Awkward Tail. And also for Hypno, I guess still, while Psyshock was a fun move to use, and I think it has a lot of potential because people just don't expect a stab move here. So a lot of people just don't shield, as you're going to see here as well, which are going to do quite a lot of damage. It's a legacy move, you need a Medicham for that, which I also did for this. I even built a new Hypno just to have a great, like a really good one here, because I had one already built prior, and I definitely want to use an Medicham on something that I know that it's going to be the best IVs possible. So, yeah, definitely, I feel like Shadow Ball would have helped me out a little bit as well, because something like the Cresselia can be a little bit annoying for this team. Everything else, other than Cresselia, you're fine with. Everything else you're going to be able to beat. But I didn't want to go for the Hypno moveset with Psyshock and the Shadow Ball, because Ice Punch is kind of needed for all the Dragon types currently around, so that's why that. Here we're going to now encounter a Lickitung in the lead. We can actually go into the commentary right now, which is really nice, as we're going to now see the Psychic Fang is going to do some pretty decent damage, and we're going to get the defense drop. And this is also why we have Broguiere on our team. The Psychic Fangs together with Confusion is just so deadly. You're going to see it all over the video as well. This combination is just so strong, because you can just go ahead and debuff all the opponents, and you will be able to just do so much damage later on with the Confusion, which is never really resisted here. And we will see already that this Froslass is forced to shield up the next charge move here coming in, which is really good for us. We also see that we have Crunch still here. Definitely going to be some games as well with Awkward here. I think I changed it around the midway through, because I was like, I kind of need some better answers for Psychic type Pokemon with my Psychic type team. So here we're going to now be able to still go for one Psychic Fangs against the opponent's Lickitung. We're gonna get them low. I should be able to farm down with my good friend Girafarig here, and I should be able to get the debuff onto the opponent. I stayed in for a little bit too long, so I went straight for it. But I'm feeling that our Shadow Hypno, especially with the new good IVs here, going to be able to get the job done, and we can farm on the Charizard. Blast Burn doesn't knock us out, and we just farm down the opponent's Lickitung as well. So yeah, definitely also a little bit more of an expensive one. I actually also had to build the Broguiere. I had one built already, but I didn't really want to use it because the IVs were pretty horrific, because it was from a raid back in the day when it got released. So yeah, this team was pretty expensive for me to build, but it was a lot of fun. So like, if you have the Pokemon already, I can highly recommend it to you. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Leaving a like on the video always helps out quite a bit, and it's for free. Like, you don't have to do anything else other than hit the like button, and it helps me out quite a bit. We're going to encounter an Aurorus here, which sadly is still going to get to another Media Beam here. After already knocking out the first Pokemon, it's also going to get a shield from me. And here I make a mistake. Here was like basically the battle that decided for me, okay, I don't really want to have Awkward here anyway. I went for the bait the entire time because they had shields, and I was like, okay, they're most likely going to shield something. They played perfectly fine here. I sure went for the Awkward here for sure. I know that, of course, Psychic Fang is going to be resisted, but of course I was basically gambling that the debuff is going to add up after a while, so much that it doesn't really matter that what I'm going to go for. But also, I kinda overestimated the Girafarig. I thought it would easily survive this incoming Rock Slide, but it's actually going to go down from this one already, which was something I didn't expect, and like this, my opponent was actually still able to win this game. If I went for Awkward Tail, I would have been better off, but I was like, Awkward Tail is not really doing that much more damage anyway, And yeah, so Crunch is definitely the way to go on the Broguiere. Can highly recommend you that one there. And most likely go for Ice Punch and Shadow Ball on the Hypno. This is most likely the best moveset to go for as well. But here you see already, the opponent's Sheep doesn't really want to get hit by that one as well. We're going to get them fairly low because otherwise you always have to hit them with like Ice Punch or Thunder Punch, which basically does no damage. Like this, we actually threaten the opponent a little bit here. But the opponent is actually making a great play by going for the bait the entire time. So right now 2 shields down, and this is not really looking too good for us in this matchup. Let's take a look what's coming in. We're going to get out a Pelipper. We can go for the Psyshock again. This time around, of course, they know about my moveset here, but I can swap out into the Girafarig. And this will force the opponent to go for a Hurricane here, because they know that I'm going to have no shield, so there's no reason for them to go for the Weather Ball. But because I know that I'm going to be able to outspeed them and win CMP, I was able to get them so low that I can just farm down with a Broguiere. Now it's Broguiere against the Medicham. We have a shield disadvantage here, but we also still have the Hypno in the back. And all that I really want to do here right now, and this is why it's so overpowered to have Psychic Fangs in this meta right now, I just want to get basically the debuffs on the opponent. And we're still going to be able to survive our Psychic. I should be able to get the shield from the opponent here as well. And as you're going to see here right now, I'm so close to the Ice Punch. It's going to be like they're going to be able to get to their move beforehand. But I will be able to go for my Ice Punch right now. And this is all we need to win this game here, as you're going to see that the Medicham is going to go down here. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to encounter here right now the Froslass against us in the lead. Again, fairly neutral force. I think we win this all the time in the 2-shield scenario, just because you see already, Confusion just adds up so insanely fast. As well as Psychic Fang is going to be in the similar speed as, for example, the Avalanche. You see me swapping out here because the fast move is going to do less damage against me here. And of course, we have 3 Confusion type users anyway, so it doesn't really matter who you're really going to go into. But here, we're going to be able to now get a debuff onto the opponent again, and we're going to be able to get to another one here as well. Getting the double debuff onto the opponent's Lickitung here is going to be very nice for me, as now I should be able to actually go into my Hypno. I will be able to survive those moves, but I'm actually going to go ahead and go into my Girafarig. I'm most likely sure go into my Hypno because Hypno can take the Body Slam a little bit easier. But I'm still going to be able to knock them out here. And in comes now, right now, the Dunsparce. This is not really ideal for me, but I can swap out now into my Hypno, and maybe they don't expect me to have the Psyshock. This would be definitely a game changer for me. Let's take a look at this matchup here. But actually, I don't even have to go for that. Ice Punch is all we need. Let's see. The opponent going to go into their Froslass. That's going to be so bad for me now. Because this Ice Punch is going to be resisted, I should win for the Psyshock instead. And now they can still get to another charge move here, which will allow them to burn my final shield. And now it's all coming down. Is Hypno plus the low health Girafarig enough to take down this Dunsparce here? We will see that we can get out actually 2 more Confusions, and the opponent gonna go for their charge move now. If they don't have one stored, I should be able to win this one, and I will be able to win this one, as the Girafarig was able here to knock out the opponent just with the fast move damage alone. Next opponent, Froslass in the lead. This is going to be, of course, a very decent force, but in comes now the Double. Again, for Double, I always kinda am scared against this Pokemon because of the potential of a payback. This time around, I expect them to just bait here again. Of course, I'm gonna get the payback against me. But while they're going to be able to knock me out here, it doesn't really matter too much. I will be able to just let this move go through. And in comes now our good friend, the Girafarig. Girafarig going to be able to get some more energy now. And with energy, we're going to have a great time against whatever they have in the back. Let's take a look at this. It's going to be a Dunsparce again, allowing me to go for the Psychic Fangs here right now, with perfect move timing as well. As now we will be able to go for also another one here. I'm going to shield the move up. I should be able to outspeed them to the next one, I think, but they're going to go ahead and go into the Froslass. Honestly, I feel like I made a mistake here. I shouldn't have swapped out here. I should have stayed in with my Girafarig and tried to get them as low as possible. Because the issue is, the opponent will be able to reach 2 Shadow Balls in time. And this will allow the opponent now to, of course, go ahead and knock out my Broguiere. Well, if I stayed in, I would have forced the opponent to throw eventually, because my Confusion damage just also add up a little bit more. And I would have a basically full health variant of the Broguiere still alive, which can take a move better from Dunsparce, but it doesn't matter anyway, because Girafarig is just such a monster. Honestly, this Pokemon just destroyed so many others. It is wild. Next opponent, Dunsparce in the lead again. I just don't like to play against the Dunsparce right now. It's not my favorite Pokemon. I should have most likely went for a charge move here, but I know that, of course, I'm going to be able to survive it a little bit easier with the Hypno. And I expect the opponent to not know about Psyshock here. So what I'm going to go ahead here is I'm going to just go straight for the Psyshock against the opponent. and I'm fairly certain that they're not going to shield it because they know that an Ice Punch is not going to do enough. And look at this, Psyshock comes in clutch. In comes now the Lantern, which is also really good for us to get out of here, because we have to align our good friend, the Girafarig against this Pokemon, because if we don't do this, of course, Bug damage going to add up, Thunderbolt going to one-shot Bruxish, but you see already the damage output of Girafarig. It is insane how strong this Pokemon is. The, buffed confusion damage with the defense drop there, it is just going to make this Pokemon so strong here right now in the endgame as well. You see that I'm going to shield up this move as well, because for me, having 2 Pokemon is better than 1, right? And we're going to encounter now the Medicham in the back, allowing us to get a Psychic Fangs off, getting the opponent already a little bit lower, and now I can go ahead and go into my Bruxish, and you see already the confusion damage is just adding up so much after the debuff that the Medicham basically has no chance here anymore. They might still be able to destroy my Bruxish, but they have literally no shot against our Girafarig in the back. They just barely got to the Ice Punch here to knock me out. And honestly, it doesn't matter, because here Girafarig is going to take the win home. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to encounter now the Cresselia in the lead, and this is of course the Pokemon that I'm scared of. I don't know right now if I currently still have Crunch on my Bruxish or not, but of course I don't have Shadow Ball, which is really hurting me there. We're going to see the Moonblast coming through, which is going to do some pretty decent damage, as I can go ahead and go for the Thunderbolt, trying to do some damage against them as well. And they're going to shield this move up, and I was like, why? Like, you don't have to, but like, it's so kind of annoying that they did this. I'm going to go for the Psychic Fingers just to get the debuff, because I thought I might be able to Steam P-Tai, but now our Girafarig is gone. But at least I have a shield advantage, which might be nice, but they have, of course, a Lickitung in the back. So our Lickitung answer is basically gone already. There's no lot that I can do here, really. And yeah, this is not looking pretty, not gonna lie, it is looking fairly rough. I will be able to just farm them down maybe at this part of time. Do I get to another? They're gonna get to the next move in time. Can I just farm them here? I think this would be the way to go. Not gonna go for a charge move, you just farm them all the way down. And I do exactly this. And you see it here already, even at 2 times speed. There was some lag before my fast move, which just didn't allow me to get it through in time. And I'm pretty sure I would have been able to farm down. And I might have had a good chance against the opponent still with whatever they had in the bag. But the game decided to lag. This happened, I think, twice to me in the day. I don't know if it's both with this team. But it was super annoying where I just literally lagged before I get my fast move through, which would have knocked out the opponent. And I'm fairly certain that I would have been able to outspeed them with my fast move damage there if it didn't lag. But yeah, that's the game we play, right? We're going to encounter another dub wall here, which you're going to have to use a shield against. The Payback, finally I shield the correct move. But in comes now a Body Slam, which is going to hurt quite a bit as well. But not as much, of course, as the super effective move. In comes the Lickitung. And we can see again why Psyshock might be the way to go on Hypno. There are a lot of Pokemon where the elemental punches don't really affect them too much. And Psyshock going to be the best option here, as it's going to be both stab as well as a fairly decent move. It's actually not as good as you might think it is. I always kind of think that Psyshock is one of the stronger moves, like for the 45 energy category, but it's actually fairly bad. I think it's like 70 damage or something. It's a really weak-ish move. So yeah, still going to be the best option for this Pokemon here, as you're going to be able to get there fairly fast. But here we're going to now encounter Bruxish against the opponent's Toxapex. And Toxapex, while it's going to be so weak against Psychic-type Pokemon, it's still going to be so bulky that it just literally does not care about it. It literally just going to knock me out here straight away, even though I have only Psychic-type Pokemon with Confusion, which is just wild, but also shows how strong the Toxapex is. Honestly, this Pokemon is insanely good. We're going to encounter now the Kofic Regus against us, where we can still go ahead and go for the Psychic Fangs. This is going to do some pretty decent damage, and this is also our best answer for this one. Here you see, by the way, the lag again, but this time around it didn't matter. I guess it was the one that I was talking about. But I will be able to now farm down, and in comes a Tackle variant of Greedent. I was actually expecting here the Bullet Seed variant, but now it's going to be Tackle, which is actually a little bit better for me, most likely, because now they don't get to the crunch as fast, which would of course be super effective against my team. And I will be able to just go ahead and go for the Ice Punch here and say not goodbye to this girl, because they're going to shield this move up. In comes now the Cresselia, and that's going to be a tough one, because now they're going to be able to go for the charge move. At least it's going to be a CMP tie here right now. And I have to go into my Girafarig, which has a little bit of energy, but not really enough to pressure the opponent here fully. I will be able to get the extra fast move through, which is really good for me though. And I'm gonna go for the bait first, which is definitely a little bit of a scarier play. And we will see, it definitely worked out well. But sadly, they still get to another charge move here right now. And like this, the opponent going to definitely outspeed me to the crunch, sadly. They would get it here right now, but they decide to swap out. I have no idea why. Luckily, they only get to Body Slam right now here. And that's going to be it for today's video. If they just went straight for the Grass Knot, they would have been able to win this game. But yeah, like this, we will be able to take this final game for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.